Did you hear about the burning that happened way down in Natchez, Mississippi town?
Hi, I'm Eric Lotzer. Thanks for tuning in. Natchez's first blues trail marker stands here on Main Street in front of the Natchez Museum. It remembers the tragic Rythum Club fire, a horrific event that took place on April 23, 1940. The packed social club caught fire and 210 souls were extinguished in less than 10 minutes. It remains the worst social club fire in American history and a textbook example at the Firefighters Academy. The blues community was also deeply impacted. 14 songs were written about the tragedy, and one of the original stops on the old blues highway, Highway 61 from Memphis to New Orleans, was erased for good. But worst of all, the African American community here lost a generation, and we all lost everything that generation could have achieved.
Well, the Blues Trail is a series of markers that have been selected by a group of 18 scholars out of a list of over 400. It'll be just a plethora of different types of markers throughout the state, and each one will have some type of interactive piece where it will not only educate you on what took place there, but then drive you to the next marker or the next town, where to go, what to do, where to stop, what to see. And the communities have really bought into these Blues Trail markers. Already we've seen just an increase of travelers and people coming through as we are starting to promote the trail. And so we really look at the overall history of the Blues Trail. Will be bringing the communities together and mark it regionally through the state.
The nucleus of them are pretty much in the Delta. That's where the rich history of the blues was born. But we also have markers throughout the coastal region of the state, the river capital region, the hills, and the pine region. All of our 5 regions of the state will have a blues marker. The Blues Trail will give people a roadmap to be able to come into our state, to travel around the state, not only go to these sites, but they get to visit some of the authentic food venues in the state. They get to shop at some of the authentic folk art shops in the state. So it's a sense of cultural tourism. It's the place where people can actually experience not only the blues, but the heritage that makes the blues so important. And what I would really love, and I hope that will be a part of what we're trying to accomplish, is that the state education department will say, okay, let's make this part of a curriculum. And, you know, to me, that's an experience that they get outside the classroom that they will remember. They will remember that.
The Natchez Association for the Preservation of African American History and Culture has as its mission the telling of the history of a people whose accomplishments have oftentimes been overlooked or forgotten. We're excited that the marker will be placed here on the grounds of the NAPAC Museum, where you can come inside the facility and learn more of the story of the Rythum Club tragedy. Over 700 people were in attendance to hear Walter Barnes and his Royal Creolians perform at the Rythum nightclub. Walter Barnes, a contemporary of Duke Ellington and Count Basie, was here to do a one-night performance on a Tuesday here in the city of Natchez. He, along with members of his band, also lost his life in the Rythum Club fire. The Natchez community no longer had a place for nationally recognized performers to come and play. And that was a tremendous loss to this community.
The Rythum Club, from my understanding, was just like the social place to be. There was a band from Chicago who had played in Florida and was on his way back to Chicago and had an engagement with the social club here in Natchez to play at this dance. And everybody was looking forward to that because that was the social event of the year.
The Rythum Club fire was a tragedy that gutted the African American community here in the Miss Lou and had a lasting impact on the entire country. The placement of the Natchez Burning Mississippi Blues Trail marker in front of the NAPAC Museum will ensure that this is a story that folks will remember forever.
The club was a place where people met, where students who were in school who could get off in the afternoon and the evenings, they would go there. And so it plays a very important role in that this was the place for African Americans to attend for any social event. This was our space. This was our place that we could call our own.
The old blues highway, running from Memphis to New Orleans, was traveled by many performers attempting to perform and ply their wares. The loss of the Rythum Club in the fire took away one of those venues.
And because the windows were boarded, the back door was boarded, and there was only one way in and one way out. And they boarded the doors to keep those gate crashers from peeping in, not knowing that it was the wrong thing to do. The building had a tin corrugated roof, and when the firemen came, they naturally put water on the roof, and the hot water came down and scalded a lot of people too. So it was very tragic. Parents had said, no, you can't go, because it was getting close to graduation time and for junior, senior prom and all. And they said, no, you're going to have your fun, you can't go. And they put pillows in the bed to make them think that they were there, and they slipped out and went and were destroyed. And some parents didn't even know till they went in the rooms and checked and found that some of the children had gone and were destroyed in that fire. Some people said it was somebody was smoking and flipped a cigarette. Some say that it could have been electrical, but they don't really know what happened. Only thing they knew that they could see the moss burning, and somebody gonna get up and try to knock it away and let in air, and that just kind of covered the place.
The Rythum Club is important for Natchez because it gives us an opportunity to recognize the tragic loss of souls who we each benefit from each and every day because of changes in the nation's fire safety and building codes. We all are safer and more protected because of the tragic Rythum Club fire. Acclaimed blues artists recorded numbers that tell the story of the Rythum Club fire, not in sadness, but in joyous celebration of the lives, the culture, the society that makes up the blues.
I just come to let all you people know what happened in that Natchez fire.
We get a lot of international visitors. We get a lot of domestic travelers coming to our state each year for festivals and events. While they're here, they like to stop by the different venues that used to be former juke joints or formal places where, corners where BB played, or the plantations where Muddy Waters lived and things like that. So we found ourselves in a position where we actually still have some of these sites available. We still have some of these places that are out there, and people know how to get to them off the beaten path sites, but we wanted to be able to put a marker there, put trailblazer signs and say, here's how you get to it for the person that didn't know how to get there. And so that's one of the things that the Blues Commission has been charged with. Governor Haley Barbour is a big advocate for the blues in our state. He sees cultural tourism as an important economic development aspect, and the blues is so important because he sees that as a part of Mississippi history that we can go out and share with the world. He sees this blues trail as a venue for us to give people a roadmap to come into our state, to be able to learn about the places, to go through the towns, to visit the cemeteries. People want to learn more about the history. When we travel abroad, we want to learn about foreign countries. Well, people come to the United States to learn about our history and our culture. And one of the most important aspects of Mississippi is our musical heritage. Our musical heritage was formed in the Mississippi Delta with the blues. That sense of soul, that whole opportunity to showcase that to the world, it gives us a chance to tell people what Mississippi is really about. And we do that through the artists, we do that through the music, we do that through the venues. Being able to go to the soil, the sand, the places where the people actually stood, where they actually played, where they actually ate. Some places where they actually lay here today in their gravesite. I mean, that's an opportunity for people to get that authentic visit, something that they wouldn't get anywhere else, something that they can really get here in Mississippi because it's the true birthplace of the blues. Music is a universal language. And one of the things about the blues is that the lyrics, the messages in the songs, it talks about something strongly within. And you actually have to feel the blues. You have to have been in a situation where you felt like the blues were on you. I mean, I think a lot of times everybody can deal with something that happened to them negatively, and where the blues put you into a perspective is that you can bounce right back up. You can sing about it, you can laugh about it, you can even have your beverage and think about it. But the good thing about listening to the blues is that it gives you that sense of place. It gives you like, that has happened to me before. So I think a lot of people universally can relate to that. And I think what is so intriguing about it is that when you've heard a lyric or when you've read a book about the blues or you've read about a person that's from our state, it makes you want to come here. It makes you want to actually see, what made him write that song? What made her write that song? What gave them that inspiration? And what really makes Mississippi a special place. The Blues Trail serves as preservation, to preserve these sites, to mark these sites where people can walk around, visit the old venues where artists played, to visit the birthplaces, to visit the grave sites. That's the preservation of the history. The educational aspect of it, it also gives us a chance to educate our Mississippians, as well as others outside the state, about these sites. I think a lot of the history that we are learning as we promote and put the trail together is that these are places that have not been taught in our history classes, that have not been read about in many, many books, but people have heard the music. They didn't exactly know that that person actually came from Mississippi, and now it gives us a chance to share that with the world.
The state of Mississippi is the birthplace of America's music. From the history and birthplace of the blues, Robert Johnson, Charlie Patton, B.B. King, Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, all born in the state of Mississippi, of one of many. And then you look at Ike Turner, Elvis Presley from Mississippi, the kings of rock and roll, and then Jimmy Rogers from the Singing Brakemen from Meridian for the first inductee to the Country Music Hall of Fame. And all those people are born here, and that's a part of our past that we're proud of and proud to share with all of our tourists.
Listen to my lonesome song. Now I want everyone to listen to my lonesome song. Now I want to say what happened